Hi, I'm Derek Sanborn, and I'm the children's pastor at People's Church in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, go ahead.
I get asked a lot how to transition your children's programs when you know some things might not be working, and how do you do that? How do you get through that and be successful? How do you get through that and not have everybody upset at you? And so that's what I'd like to talk about. One thing that you got to realize is that in children's ministry, your ministry programs are going to have to change. You have to find what works for your church. You can't just go through and say, okay, here's a box program, let's make it fit, because that doesn't always work for people. It might not work for your church that you're in, and you know what, that's okay. So find what works best for you. Find what works best for your people. One thing that we have done at People's Church is to really get a group of people together. Find 10, 15 families that want to sit down that you can talk with. You know, if it's less than that, find just somebody that you can sit and say, okay, what is working within your children's ministry? Is this program okay for your child? If it's not, you have to be okay with yourself to figure out, okay, this doesn't work. But yet it's not an attack on you, it's not an attack on the church, it's not an attack on your children's ministry, it's just a program that you have for your children that just doesn't meet the needs of these specific families. Be okay with hearing that criticism, because it's coming out of love. One thing that we found is that we targeted families that did not come to specific, if it's a Wednesday night, a midweek. We asked those families, why don't you come to a midweek program? And they were honest with us. They said, well, it's because of this. It doesn't interest our child. It doesn't do anything for us as a family. And so just ask them, okay, if we could do something, what would work for your family? If we could offer something different, would you come to a midweek program? Would you come to something different if we offered it? And then begin to find ways to offer it. So how do you get people to teach these new classes? Find where their strengths are. Go and ask people in your church. So go and ask the adults, what gifts do you have? What things do you have to offer? I know something that we found at People's Church that our families were really interested in were the arts programs, were sports programs, were more of your outdoor programs, more of your dances and things like that. And so we began to find people within our church that had these talents, these skills to teach dance, to teach the arts, to teach creative things, how to take video, how to do photography. Finding people like that to be able to teach those kids and then show them these skills, teach these things like that. But transitioning these ministries, these programs is something that you can have a losing battle for, because at times you're going to find people, they associate themselves with the ministry that might be going off into the distance, going off to the wayside, the ministry that might be getting canceled. And so a challenging piece is going to be to find how to keep those people engaged still within your ministry. Find ways that they can still win. Let them feel appreciated. Let them feel like there's still ownership in how to train kids. Help them to see that teaching children is not just one way. It's all these different ways. Finding ways for them to, man, this is tough. I'll start that one over. Another piece that you're going to run into when transitioning different ministry programs within children's ministry is you're going to run into some leaders who are going to feel like you don't value them. Leaders that have been teaching a specific Sunday school class or a midweek program for years and years, and all of a sudden they're finding that less kids are coming to their class, and then there's beginning to be a transition, and they're wondering, well, am I not any good at this anymore? And you got to find ways to help them still feel like they are really important to the ministry that they're doing. Show them that what they do is important. Show them the kids' lives that they're touching, and that when you begin to change these things, they are going to be able to touch many more children. Help them to see that it's not their fault. It's the church. It's not the church's fault. It's the time that parents are living in, that they're busy. There's all these different activities that they're being part of, and their kids are being pulled back and forth from. And what you're trying to do is to help them get the importance of why church is here for those families, how that the church is still relevant to them by offering programming that is relevant for their kids and families.